Okay, my outstanding friends, before we get started, I'm just going to let this roll through. This is just Wikipedia, Uluru, which is also known as Ayers rock. And I'm going to explain to you what it is using Mudfossil tech. And I will explain to you what this is. Now, this is a monolith. It's a large sandstone monolith. Huge. Now, we're going to look at it from every aspect that we can look. And I think I know exactly what it is, and I would like to have your comments on what you think. Okay, no sense beating around the bush. Black is vein blood, red is artery blood. You have both of those mixing together in a heart, which is what Uluru is. But Uluru is the tiniest little bit of the heart. We're up here. I was just showing you way up here where the tendon locks into the muscle. This is tendon coming down here to lock into that muscle. Now follow these little stripes of muscle running down here. You see that? That's muscle. That's actually the fabric of the muscle. Now, where does it run to? Well, it runs all the way around the heart. And how far does the heart go? It goes a long way. Uluru is just the tiniest little bit. Uluru is almost nothing. That's Uluru. It's virtually nothing. But you see all the green running around it? That's because blood makes things grow green. This is one gigantic scab. I don't know what the creature was, but this is basically the heart. And if the red blood is running off here and there, causing green to go around the edges, what that heart was from, I don't know, but there's a lot of action going on down here. I'm sorry, that's what it is. Now I'm going to show you some details, and then you could talk to your doctors, you talk to your anatomists, and you see if they disagree or agree. Up here is where the plumbing is. That's why the black is up here. You see the black? That's the vein blood. I'll show you the anatomical, because there's other areas where the pulmonary, the black stuff runs through. And then you're going to have different colors here and there representing some kind of, I don't know, I got to be honest with you, I don't know why that is there. But it's certainly some form of an enzyme or something that is being pushed into the system right at this spot. I don't even know if they know these things are here. Well, that may not be green. I don't know. This is stuff needs to be looked at. But that's the size of the heart we're dealing with, is basically this whole thing. And up in here is where all the plumbing is. Now let me show you the details. All right, I'm just going to run through these pretty quick because it's just completely obvious. You see all these real green stripes coming out of here? Very, very fertile, washing whatever's on here off. Now look at the texture of this. You see all these little pock marks here on this side of where the water's running off? You see all the green? Well, green indicates blood. And that's what that is a heart. It's saturated with blood. And that's just a tiny little piece. All right, this is Uluru, and I show you it's heart tissue. Now you see this big gouge-like thing across here with the extreme abrupt transitions? And these, I believe this is where the tendon is. This is a part of that tendon that locks in, that holds the muscle. And this just bump sticking up there, Uluru. But this is the gouge. All right, if my claim is that Australia basically is a big bloody heart, all of this stuff looks to me like a bunch of snakes, a big ball of snakes. These things just didn't happen to pop out of here for nothing. I've done my research on this, and I know that this is something. I don't know what it is. But it's tied into something. And they had some really strange things, apparently, way, way, way back when the Earth was being created out of these bodies. There was giant things in the earth in those days. And this is that giant thing. That's Uluru. That's the tiniest little speck of a heart. Up here, where is the tendon ties in? I showed you this before. I know I did. This is not something that can really be easily disputed. And here's where all the black blood was up in where the valves are, and it pumps the black and the red and all that stuff through that system together. And this is that black blood. This is not just something that happened for no reason. Popping right out in the middle of all this red stuff. Explain that to me. And I know what this is. I can see, I understand the flow of body fluids now. Basically, these are body fluids. No geologist can explain that just basically, oh yeah, this was runoff and this happened and that happened. No. This is body tissue. And the world is made, everything in the universe that I can tell right now is from some kind of biology. Now, by the way, if you look around where the oceans are eating into the edges of the earth, they're eating into blood supplies, and that's why all this red stuff's running all over the earth now. These are body parts that are being eroded away, and as they do, the blood flows out of them. Nobody's paying attention to this stuff. You see, this is blood meal. They sell it to make things grow green, and it works very well. And this is blood. It's just running off of here. Now look at the striations here. That's muscle from the heart. And this is up close. That is a lot of red blood in a heart in addition to the blood inside. There's a ton inside. But in order to make this muscle constrict and do this 24 hours a day for your entire life, it's riddled. Well, I'll show you. Let me see here. Well, here it is right here. This is what's inside of Uluru. Those are heart muscle sarcomeres. And here's what they look like in a regular heart. Rectangular brick-shaped cardiac muscle fiber nuclei. And this is the same stuff. Now, the real watery stuff has drained out of here, basically. But it still washes blood off, and that keeps everything really, really green around it, as you can see. Now, this is just another shot of that. This is just a shot up the wall. And it's got a coating on it, which well, as a matter of fact, hold on. Here it is right here. This is what the coating is on the heart. There's an additional layer in here I don't think they know about, which is the interstitium, which is going to be a very thin, fluid-filled highway that can get all your enzymes and probiotic stuff moving anywhere it needs to be to attack something that's trying to invade you. This is sort of new, this interstitium layer. But I think I understand it pretty well. And that's where your immunities are. And you might get attacked over here. You got to get somebody to go over there. And that's how they get through this fluid-filled, complete fluid-filled layer. It was at one time sort of considered a fascia, but it's an additional layer that has the basic lymph. And that is what the lymph fluids have, all the enzymes and all of the probiotic stuff to keep you healthy. That's where immune system is. But you have to have the bacteria to create the enzymes. Okay, a lot of hearts they find are broken right there, exactly right there, which is this seam. And you see the blue and the red? That makes what's called iron banding. The two irons oppose each other. This is also a heart. Now this one didn't die like this, it died laying flat. And the black and the red and the black and the red, they push each other apart. You see the black and the red? This makes iron banding because it was laying this way. If it was laying this way, the buckets would have gone this way. It's have red over this side and black over on this side. And we have some of those too. But this is the Bennu and Psyche, which are hearts, and they're in space. They're down here at the valves. all that stuff popped off. All right, so when that pops off, what do you see? Well, this is what you see. It's right here. You see it? It breaks right there. And you actually have a different coloration because it just pops right off. And you end up with this. And these are the 4 valves in this area. And they have black and red blood. And this is, that's psyche. That's a heart. That's in space. And that's what it is right here. And also Bennu, which is this one here. These are the valves in Bennu. There's one there, and a big one, the tricuspid, is right down there. And that's the heart, devoid of the plumbing on the top, because they break off. It's a known factor. Right there, they just pop right off, and out they go. And we're left with the muscle and the valves. Now, look at this. All right, we know we have red and black, and then you also have yellow blood. Those are the oxygenation states. These are the valves. And that is a tube coming out of psyche. That's 170 miles across and 140 or something like that wide. This is the tendon. And that locks into the muscle and that wraps around. These little things are popping out of here. Most of those are just popped out because they got cooked, the blood that was in there. And there's still going to be a lot of red blood in this. It won't just leak into nowhere, land out in space. It stays in with the heart. And they've had meat showers, a great Kentucky meat shower, rained meat all over. And it's been not one time, it's been a lot of those. And these are the things that are in space. And here's what they came back with from Bennu, or from this one here. Same one, they're both hearts. And here's what they came back with. Heart sarcomeres, membranes, sarcomeres. These are the bundles that are the rope bundles inside your heart to make your heart constrict and do that. And they found the DNA, the RNA, the uracil, they found everything. And they just can't accept what they found. They called this a phosphate surprise. Well, it's phospholipids, yes. And it was a surprise because they didn't expect this to be a heart. But it is a heart, and those are muscle sarcomeres. And a heart here on Earth looks exactly the same. This is a heart attack victim. These blocks are sarcomeres, just like I just showed you. And these layers here are the phospholipid layers, the phosphate surprise. This is a heart attack victim. But inside here, there's all these little connective tissues that do this when the heart, that's what makes your heart work. Sarcomeres. From outer space heart, the other one was from inner space heart. Now, I don't make any statements I can't stand behind. That's a hair follicle. I show this every single time because it's easy. It's 2 inches wide. I don't know if it's human or what it was, but it's 2 inches wide. And there's the muscle attachment. There's the shaft. There's the hair papilla down the bottom. There's the sebaceous gland. And there's the shaft coming up, the hair shaft. There's absolutely no question about that. It's zero. This is so cool. I can't believe it. You see those 4 holes? This is coral. And this is a heart. Those are the 4 holes. There's the chambers of the heart. There's the chambers of the heart. And I look down on my microscope and I can see the red blood. Some of it is still crystallized and has not come out of there. A lot of these corals are just they're creatures living on body parts and eating whatever's left of them. And here it is right there. That's what's left is the heart. I'll show you the blood. You see that? That's blood. That's inside this heart. That's solidified and kept its red bloodness, but it turned into crystal. And you can see it all up inside the heart. And that's something, it's not on the outside. See, on the outside of the heart, you don't see that. So, somebody would see this and say, oh, I see a monkey's face there. You got to stay within reality. I see what I see because I know what I'm seeing. Now, that's deep down inside the heart. And that's blood. I think I've made my case. Now, I obviously made an extremely solid case. And this stuff is everywhere. It's worldwide. It's nothing here just in my backyard, but it is. It's in your backyard, too, if you have a backyard. This is all the stuff that's everywhere. And it's time we look at this as our true history. Because these things are talked about. They're not just here. A lot of the stuff that was talked about is laughed off because it's just spectacular. Yes, I don't disagree with that. But if something's true, I don't care if it's spectacular or not. If it's true, it's true. And these things are really the meat turned into stone. In certain cases, it depends on where it was. There was a hot, boiling flood, flooded the whole earth. This was all written about. And if you go to some school, they tell you that you have pareidolia and you can't think straight when you start talking about this kind of stuff. And I understand the resistance to it as just throwing it at them. Yes. But to have this kind of evidence and not allow it to be seen, that is fiduciary failure by the universities. They are fiduciaries to their students. They are there to present things to them that are the truest things they can find. And inform them. That's what their job is. It's not to hide this stuff. And that's what's been done. I'm going to leave it at that. I love you all. You got to start talking up. You got to start spreading this word. We're living in a fantasy land, my friends. I love you all.